Critical thinking games are one of the best ways to help develop critical thinking skills in a person. In the following article we will look at some of these games. Continue reading for more details. Don't we look up to people who have clarity in their thinking? Those who can think a problem through and through and, therefore, approach a problem with great understanding? Have you ever wondered why that becomes possible? It is made possible because they are able to apply critical thinking in everything that they do. What does critical thinking allow? Critical thinking skills help a person perceive a problem in its entirety, to think, analyze, interpret, reason, evaluate, and rationalize a problem before reaching a conclusion. Thus the conclusion is well thought of and has the backing of complete and thorough knowledge. That is why it is important to undertake certain exercises which will help in this direction. Developing critical thinking skills in a person can be duly undertaken with the help of specific games. In the sections that follow, we shall look at some of these critical thinking games and understand how to go about inculcating them. Games for kids. Critical thinking skills need to be inculcated at an early age because its positive effects can then be garnered throughout one's life. In this direction, it has been seen that there are several individual as well as group activities that can be used as forms of critical thinking exercises. Here are some of the same. Rebuild models. Divide a group of kids into teams of equal numbers. Have a model made of kids building blocks and set in the corner of the room. The objective of this game is to replicate this model with the material that has been provided to the kids. When the first whistle blows, one member from each team goes to the model and studies the model for 10 seconds. He then comes back and relates what he saw and the team starts replicating the model. After a stipulated time has passed, a second whistle blows and another member of each team comes forward to study the model. This cycle continues till the time is up. The team that has been able to duplicate the model in the best manner wins. Brain teasers. There are several forms of brain teasers that can help in developing and teaching critical thinking. These include simple and difficult riddles, spotting the differences, crosswords, puzzles, and situational clues. All these games allow a person to develop strategic thinking and planning, and teach them the use of logic in everyday life. Puzzles. Critical thinking puzzles come about in varying degrees of difficulty and can be used to develop these skills. These puzzles might seem simple, but they pose a challenge that allows for a person to be more evolved in matters of problem solving and the like. Situational stories. Another great way for kids or adults to develop the skills of critical thinking is to give them a situation that poses a problem or threat and then ask them to develop a story describing what they would do to get out of that problem. For example, you are returning home late in the evening through a lonely street when some stranger approaches you and offers you a candy. There is no one else on the road other than a young man at some distance. What do? Online games. There are several puzzles, card games and other games like Sudoku or completing diagrams and the like. This is another great way to develop critical thinking in a person. Critical thinking games are some of the most fun and effective ways of inculcating the skills of critical thinking in a person. The games that have been listed in this article can be used by both adults and kids alike. Nothing better than a few fun ways of going about developing critical thinking, right?